in the wake of the Labour Party essentially telling their entire voter base that they don't want their votes and they want them to go away forever. But a lot of the progressive base of the Labour Party is deserting them, and they are looking other places. Now, I'm a Green Party member, and I would always recommend people joining the Green Party as an alternative for Labour. There are people who are looking at independent socialist candidates. There are plenty of other options that left-leaning voters can move to, whether or not they care about social, economic, or geopolitical issues. One of the options that I've seen a lot of people talk about, especially amongst young people on TikTok and places like that, is the potential of moving to the Liberal Democrats as an alternative to the Labour Party. They believe, wrongly of course, that the Liberal Democrats are a progressive party, when of course the chief word in the Liberal Democratic Party prospectus for governance is the word liberal. They're not socialist, they're not even social democratic, they're a liberal party, and liberal means capitalist, and liberal is a centre-right ideology based upon free markets, privatisation. I made my mistake voting for Nick Clegg. And then what happened in 2010, chat? Do we all remember what happened in 2010? Oh yeah, they went into a coalition with the Conservative Party. And what did that coalition give us? Obviously, they gave us the austerity budgets from 2010 till 2019. The coalition was the first 5 years of those with the Liberal Democrats, which caused 330,000 excess deaths. There was a United Nations envoy who claimed that we had violated the human rights of the disabled. And at no point did the Liberal Democrats oppose any of this. In fact, some of the worst things that they did, like the bargain basement sell-off of Royal Mail in 2013, this was written and approved by the Business and Trade Secretary Vince Cable, who was from the Liberal Democrats at the time. They reneged on their promise to vote against hikes in tuition fees and supported the government at the time. They happily were there to be able to support them in things like Libya and Syria. They were liberals. They were liberal capitalists. They were centre-right liberals in government. In fact, things got so low, on an eve of conference trade, they said that they would acquiesce to even more punitive welfare cuts if the government would impose a 5p charge on plastic bags. The welfare cuts was found to not be legal for the government to do, so they did get the bag charge for free. But given that they were willing to give up something that was technically illegal at the time to be able to do that, shows you how low the Liberal Democrats are willing to stoop to be able to essentially get access to power, because at any point during the coalition, when a lot of their supporter base was quite rightly deserting them, as they should have done for the crimes that the coalition were responsible for, at any point they could have seen the writing on the wall and broken the coalition and caused a general election by voting against a government budget, by voting for a lack of confidence in the Conservative Party administration. But they were too attached to power to break that apart, and so they continued the ruinous legacy of the administration, which, on top of everything we've discussed, we had £15 billion of council assets sold off because of the reduction in council budgets. For the vast majority of the time when the Liberal Democrats were in coalition with the Conservative government, we saw stripping away of things like Sure Start. We saw the cancellation of the school repair programme that had been floated by Gordon Brown, which we're now seeing the problems with school roofs collapsing nowadays because of rat concrete, and it also fomented the collapse of the NHS with things like the Lansley reforms, or the continual reduction in NHS spending as a percentage of GDP every single year from 2010 until 2015, when the Liberal Democrats were voting through every single Conservative budget that proposed these cuts. The Liberal Democrats are the enablers of the worst government in living memory. You cannot forgive all of the things that were done during the coalition government.